On today's podcast episode, we're going to continue through our series. We've been going through just kind of talking about our From Now to Next campaign that we've been talking about here at the church. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the mission of our church, to glorify God by being disciples who make more disciples. It's the mission that our church has had for 140 years. It has not changed. We may have phrased it a little differently over the last 140 years, but it's the same mission, helping people connect to their King, Jesus. And the second thing we wrestled through last week is that the buildings don't save people. Jesus does, but God uses the buildings, right? God uses the places to gather and to reform and to change people's lives. Well, this last weekend, we talked about sacrifice. And you talked a lot about our money and sacrificing our money. So I have a question for you, Adam. We say a lot around our church that we are not after your money. Mm-hmm. Are you flip-flopping on that? Because yesterday we talked about how we're after your money. It feels like.
Yeah, not at all. There's no flip-flopping here at all. When we hear something, we have to remember to hear it in the context of everything else we know there, right? So that can be difficult, especially if you're new to a place, right? To a gathering. But if you've been here for a while, then you heard me say about sacrificing financially, about giving toward a thing. You heard me talk about how our teens are sacrificing financially, raising money, and our kids even are sacrificing financially to raise some money, and how those financial sacrifices really need to be in addition to our regular giving, right? Mm-hmm. It's an extra thing so we don't actually unintentionally or inadvertently handicap the church by not giving toward the regular ministries or things too. And so you might wonder, like, what's that mean? But if you hear that, you hear it in the context of what we've always said. Here at Connect Christian Church, we are not chasing after your dollars. Not at all. In fact, I would really not talk about dollars ever, except for the fact that I know Jesus talked about dollars a lot.
Yeah.
Not dollars, money. He talked about them a lot. And he said things such as, where your treasure is, that's where your heart is also. And he said things about investing in things for kingdom purposes, and he taught these things, right? He taught about good stewardship. He taught about good management, about being faithful, about handling small things so you get larger things to handle later. All these things are true. And so when we say this, when I talk about financial sacrifice for the From Now to Next project, so we can create more space for people to come to Jesus, thrive, family, go on mission, in there, yes, I am unashamedly talking about money in that moment. Not because I want your dollars, but because I want to help encourage you, just like I've encouraged myself and you and others along the way, that we need to, together, all of us, we need to invest ourselves where our heart is.
Yeah.
We need to invest in the kingdom. We need to invest in kingdom things. We need to give toward kingdom future. We need to help people walk into the kingdom. And right now, the tool that we use for that looks like dollars.
Yeah.
And so it's really a management talk, not a financial one, right? But it all comes back to wanting our heart to be focused on the kingdom of God.
And I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad we're wrestling through this, because I think it's also wise of us to recognize that the culture we live in, things just cost money to do.
They do.
Whether we like it or not. Like, if I want to go somewhere, it costs me money and gas. It doesn't matter if I'm going to the church or not. It costs me money. It costs me money to do something. We live in a culture that costs money to do things. And in order for us to be able to reach more people, it's going to cost something. And we want to be able to give towards that, not ashamedly, not out of guilt or reluctance, as Paul talks about, because we are so excited about the things God has done, not only in my life. I'm so excited about so many of you watching this. You weren't here a couple of years ago. Some of you are so new to your walk with Jesus who are watching this. You weren't even part of God's family a couple of years ago. You all excite me to give towards this, because I want to see more seats filled like you.
That's right. In fact, you've been doing a little work for us, looking back through some old cabinets and drawers and tubs and things, finding old pictures, and we found a few neat ones. I have one to share, right? Mm-hmm. One here you pulled out. This one here, there's no date. There's no date on this picture here, but best we could do based on the vehicles in it, we think it's around 1910 or 1915, somewhere in there. Maybe it's early as 1908, 9, somewhere in that range. But this little picture, if you can see it very well or not, this is our building originally. So our church started in 1885. You don't hold that?
I thought I would pan towards as you talk.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Look at this.
Look at that. So it's coming in close and I'm disappearing. So we have that. This building right here, 1885.
That building.
There you go. 1885 was high-tech filmmaking here. Our church starts 1885.
Mhm.
1901, somewhere in there, we built that building.
Mhm.
That picture was taken outside that building. A bunch of, I believe, Model Ts, rode up in the street outside that building. That's how we kind of date off of that. Because people sacrificed
Yeah.
financially because they wanted to make sure that their treasure and their heart were in the same place. And so they sacrificed so they could build toward kingdom things. We're asking that the Connect family sacrifice again. We've done this before. We sacrificed to Launch North Heights a few years ago. We're doing it again so we can build toward kingdom things, seeing people that we don't even know yet. Those people in that picture, they didn't know who me, Keenan, or you were.
No.
They had no clue. They sacrificed for you.
Mhm.
And so we're doing it again for people that we don't even know yet.
Yeah.
Because we believe God has a great story to write. And we want to be part of it. So we're giving toward that vision.
If you have any questions about the From Now to Next campaign, make sure you reach out to us. This next Sunday, we're wrapping up the campaign, and Adam's going to challenge us again to start giving towards this mission. So be praying. How are you going to sacrifice? How are you going to give? And how are you going to take next steps with your family in being obedient to what God's called us to do now?
Mhm.
Church, until we see each other again, you are sent.